This is Andy Purewal for Boxing News. I'm joined by British heavyweight champion, British Commonwealth, and plenty of other titles which I can't remember. Champion Fabio Wardley here in Saudi Arabia. Fabio, good to see you. Very relaxed this morning. How you feeling?
Feeling good, thank you, mate. All well. Just ate, full belly, chilled, mate. Nice time, nice time.
Back here, Saudi Arabia. Frazer Clarke. Does it feel? How does it feel? Does it feel? Do you feel positive about this? Do you feel fed up about talking about Frazer Clarke? How does it all feel now?
Yeah, look, I feel positive about the fight, about being out here, about Saudi, about the card, all the event. Maybe slightly fed up of talking about him because it's not just obviously this is the second fight, so it was the build up of the last fight, but it wasn't even that. It was, if you want to go way back, it was the purse bids.
Yeah.
Then it was the fight, so all the talk of that. Then it was the aftermath of the fight. Then it was, when is the rematch going to happen? Then it's the rematch is happening, and now it's all of this, and it's like, jeez, for like my life for the last good year has just been Frazer Clarke. And don't get me wrong, I don't mind him too much, but Jesus Christ, like there's only so much you can hear of someone.
Do you think he minds you?
I don't think I'm on his Christmas list, no. I don't think I'm going to be getting a card in the post.
I did just show you a video from the Grand Arrivals yesterday, where obviously you was doing yours and he stood in the back and he does sometimes a gun gesture towards you to indicate he's going to take you out. What did you make of it?
I didn't make anything of it because I didn't see it. It was a strange gesture, weird, but look, mate, whatever you need to do to help you get by, I don't know. Like, I was at the Grand Arrivals. I think it just shows the difference. Like, I honestly didn't notice him at all at the Grand Arrivals. Obviously, he walked before me, so I was a few paces behind him when we were lining up to do the walk on the stage. But aside from that, I didn't pay no attention. I didn't know where he was. He could have been behind me, in front of me, next to me, left to the right. I haven't got a clue where the difference with him is. His eyes are on me 24/7. He's looking, he's watching, he's making gestures, he's saying stuff, he's talking to himself. It's like, mate, I said this yesterday in an interview. Like, you're just doing too much. Just chill out. Well, for me, I say chill out, but for you, look, if it works for you, then do it. Whatever does. Ultimately, all of that is not going to help you in the fight. It's not going to do anything for you. I'm not going to be in the middle of round 6 thinking, oh no, Frazer made that gun gesture, he's going to hurt me.
You were both adamant in the build-up to the first fight it was going to end inside the distance. Obviously, we didn't get that, but we had still arguably the best fight of the year in the UK. What's different this time around? What gives you the assurance in your own mind this one doesn't reach that 12th round?
I just need to be more clinical. Like, I was on the edge of it numerous times in the last fight. I was within touching distance of finishing that fight numerous times. And it was just more about finishing. It was just about being more cleaner, more clinical about how I go about my business. And that's the adjustment, really. Everything else stays the same. Still the same game plan, still the same work, still the same directive. Because I had a tremendous amount of success. Knocked him down, hurt him loads. So it's cool. It's just paying attention to those moments and then just following up on them better.
I've obviously seen a few different clips and various back and forths between yourself and Frazer and build up to this from your face-offs, and a couple of points which I want to bring up to you. The first one, him questioning your engine from the first fight. I imagine you know what I'm referencing there. What did you make of that from the face-off? Him questioning if you can continue a high pace for 12 rounds.
Yeah, it's a funny statement. It's coming from the likes of him who doesn't have an engine, is known for not having a very big engine. If you look at all of his fights through his pro career, they've gone any sort of 6 rounds plus. There's not been any sort of real sharpness to them, anything like that. You just use the whack fight, for example, and his excuse was, oh, it was hot on the night. Like, mate, give it a rest. The geezer was 40 years old. You're fighting a 40-year-old bloke who's slower than my nan, and somehow you still laboured through that whole fight, and you want to talk to me about stamina and engine and energy. And with all of my fights, they're they're fast paced, they're exciting, they're full of energy. And even through our fight as well, mine and Frazer's fight, I was the one pressing the action. I was the one pressing the pace, pushing him back, marching him around the ring, pressing forward. So I don't know how he can talk to me about stamina, about engine or anything like that. And the only thing I will concede is that in certain areas I did lack, but that was only because I had him going and I just rushed it and I let too much off. I just kind of blew my load too early and thinking I was going to get him out of there straight away. And didn't, and had to kind of dig a bit deeper, find some more energy, come back around and go again. But I did.
Do you feel like that was the biggest lesson you had from the first fight in terms of making sure you kind of pace yourself a little bit better this time around?
Yeah, look, it's still going to be a lot of the same, but I'm still going to be way better with engine management and just decision making more so, and just looking at the situation properly for what it is, and not just thinking, right, it's hurt, get him out, get him out, get him out, get him out. I'm going to analyse it a lot better and just be a little more clinical.
But moving away then from face-offs till it comes back to me, with this fight, the chapter closes. Is that one way that you're looking at it now, that you can just move on with your career and you can look towards that next chapter?
Yeah, look, I think it closes in a number of areas. Obviously, the Frazer Clarke era, whatever that bit of my life was, or bit of my boxing career was, that will be finished after Saturday night. And obviously, my kind of British title, British area level kind of fights, I think that'll be done as well. I really can't see any more contenders at that point. This are right for me to take at this point anymore, at this juncture in my career, where I've held on to the belt now for 2 maybe plus years, something like that. Fought for it, defended it twice. This will be the third. So I've had my good run with it. I've had some time with it. It's time to probably let that go and let the kind of next little crop go for it, and me move on to bigger and better things.
When you look at what could be bigger and better things, and you mention that British scene and moving past it, where do you look at? Where do you see the say 2025 and the rest of your career going?
Ultimately, setting up for a world title, or at least a shot at a world title, or eliminator. Something like that. A voluntary shot, something like that. Because I'm well ranked with the governing bodies. I'm up there. I'm in the mix. So we obviously know the big fight that's happening at the end of the year. So once that happens, and then a few months later, when things start to fragment and mandatory start to get called, and eliminators and this, that, and the other, and everything starts to move in all sorts of directions, I want one of those directions to be towards me. So that's the plan for next year, is to position myself right.
I know people have spoken about the potential of a trilogy with Frazer, but going off everything we've said here, is that somewhat in the back of your mind now? You don't see that taking place? Like you've said here, you're tired of talking about him. You've had 2 build-ups with him. It's very much win, move on, see you later, Frazer. Yeah,
that is pretty much it. Win, move on, off you go about your business. Maybe in 2 or 3 years, when if he does a rebuild, brings himself back, and he grabs hold of some belts along the way, and I've got mine and whatever else, he might be a bit old by then. He'll probably be about 57 by then, but he might still be going for it. Who knows? But yeah, after this fight, I'm done.
The Portman Road dream. Do you have a time frame?
It's a hard one. It's a hard one. I want every year. I want to do it like every year. I want to do it, but the problem with it isn't whether I want it or whether it's just Town wants it, because we both do. It's a conversation we have damn near weekly, talking about it and putting it off and making it happen. But it's a different thing now, because especially with the club being in the Prem, there's way more obligations and things like that for it to be able to be pulled off. But also timing wise, obviously we know how much goes into setting up a show like that in a stadium, and how much damage you can do to the pitch and things like that. So it will need to be outside of the footballing season, which then means I need the right opponent at the right time that would fall within that window, and then there's a lot of moving pieces that all need to come together at a very similar time for it to come off. So every year we kind of look at it and go, right, maybe we can pull it off this year. Okay, we didn't, whatever. Next year we try again, we try again.
Lee Wood's in a similar position. He expressed his frustrations that he couldn't quite get a fight over Nottingham Forest ground because of the same issues that you've just raised. But do you also look at it as this is the time to strike? I've seen you obviously interacting with fans. I've seen you in the away end at Carrow Road. It seems to be that you've got quite a good relationship with Ipswich fans, and it's the time to strike whilst the club's on such a high, being back in the Prem.
Yeah, look, there would be no better time than to do it at the end of the season. But again, I also don't want to do it for the sake of doing it. I don't want to do it just to say, oh, look, I've done it. I want it to be worthy. I want it to be a decent fight. I want it to be a decent person on the other end. I want it to be for a decent title or some sort of belt or defence or something like that. I want there to be something about it that's grabbing, not just, oh, Fabio Wardley's having to fight at Portman Road. And I know, don't get me wrong, especially for Ipswich fan base and my fan base, that would do enough to get them there. It would. But for me, I think doing that fight deserves better, almost, or deserves a lot more.
Just a couple to wrap this up and looking towards and coming back to Saturday night. I've recalled what I was going to ask you earlier on. Frazer being in somewhat surprised mode of you suggesting you're just going to walk through him, being surprised by that attitude. What do you make of him having that type of opinion and his shock at that?
I don't know if I ever said I was going to walk through him. I think I said I was going to walk at him and just carry on at round 13 and pick up from where I left off. I never said I was going to walk. He's made that assumption in his head by the way I'm talking, of saying I'm just going to walk at him, start throwing punches, and I'm going to get him out of there. I don't mean I'm going to get him out of there in the first minute of the first round. I might do, but I'm not guaranteeing it, nor is it what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that bell rings, I'm going to knuckle up and walk forward. So he might have just got a bit confused there.
What happens on Saturday night?
Fabio Wardley wins. Frazer Clarke get knocked out. My hand gets raised. I fly home, treat myself to a Five Guys, and I'm on holiday a few weeks later.
Your final message to Mr. Frazer Clarke?
Look, have a good sleep. Stay healthy. Stay fit. Stay ready. See you on Saturday.
Very cordial, Fabio. So appreciate your time. Obviously, good luck with the rest of this week. Good luck on Saturday. And I'm sure I'll catch up with you soon.
Cheers, mate. Thank you.